proteins, carbs, fats, no sweets. Good quality protein, complex carbs, high quality fats. I want to gain muscle as a footballer.
Yo, what's good, bro? Damn, we got whey, got chicken. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how you can gain muscle as a footballer. I was just dreaming, I think. We got some creatine, got some cottage cheese, got some whey. Let's chat, guys. RicFit fam, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how you can gain muscle as a footballer. Many footballers get this wrong, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it right. Because if you get it wrong, you're going to get slower and you're going to get more unathletic. But if you get it right, like I'm going to tell you in today's video, you're going to become more athletic, more explosive, better in 1v1 duels, and you're gonna be able to rise up the leagues and reach your ultimate genetic potential. My biggest mistake when I was trying to gain muscle as a footballer is I was doing it completely the wrong way. Basically what I was doing is I was just lifting like a bodybuilder. I was training biceps and triceps in one day, chest day, I was doing back day, training curls for the girls, which is good once in a while, yeah, but we're looking to improve on the pitch. We're looking to make you better for match day. So basically, when I realized it was time to really start changing is when I went over to Germany and a coach said to me, you know, Friedlander, you got excellent potential, but you literally look like a tank on the pitch, man. You have a big chest, you got big shoulders, you got big arms, but you're just not quick enough. You're just not explosive enough on the pitch. So once I changed my training and my nutrition to doing compound lifts and training movements instead of muscles, I completely changed my entire game. Yes, I went down about 5 to 7 kilos, about 10 to 12 pounds, but I ended up becoming more athletic, more explosive, and better on the pitch. My best weight as a player was about 168 to 170 pounds, which is about 76 to 78 kilos. And the biggest mistake that I see players make, especially when guys and girls come to us when they're trying to gain muscle, is they try to do it too quickly. And when you try to do it too quickly and you add too much mass, too much weight, naturally, if you don't add horsepower in your legs and you don't become more explosive and you're not doing the right gym training, you're gonna get slower. So in today's video, I'm gonna describe the exact details and what you need to do systematically to improve yourself on the pitch. But most importantly, what you need to realize is your training to get better on the pitch. You're training to get better for match day and help your team get 3 points. You're not out there training in the gym to look better for the girls at the beach. Obviously, that's great, but that's gonna come as an indirect result from doing the right gym training, eating the right food, and having proper recovery. So your staples that I'm gonna talk about today for you to gain muscle to improve your performance on the pitch is your nutrition, your gym work, and then your recovery work, specifically your sleep. If you get those 3 key pillars in order, you're gonna be able to gain muscle, gain size, so you improve your overall explosiveness and power, win more 1v1 duels and shoulder battles, but you don't decrease your athleticism. Let's get right into it. 5 reasons building functional muscle in football matters is strength and power, injury prevention, endurance, confidence, and recovery. So, essentially what you're gonna do, the first and most important thing is you're gonna be in a caloric surplus. So you're gonna either be, depending on your weight, you're either gonna be in a caloric surplus of 150 calories to 300. So this obviously depends personally on you, and that's where I recommend either doing your own research or hiring yourself your own coach. Basically, we're gonna break this down into 6 steps. The first step is you're gonna set your goal. What is your goal? How much weight do you wanna gain in how much time? Generally, I recommend for you as a footballer to take it slower. Slower is better. You're not a bodybuilder. This isn't dirty bulking. This isn't you can just eat whatever you want to gain some weight. You need to be in a caloric surplus of about 250 to 400 calories. Then what you need to do is you need to start tracking your protein. You need to be taking in 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram. Then you want to figure out what your rate of muscle gain, what your rate of weight gain you want for your personal self. And that obviously depends on where you're at right now. Generally, I recommend anywhere from 0.25 to 0.5 kilos per week or every 2 weeks. So what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to start tracking your calories so you can hit the right caloric surplus and so you can hit the right protein. What I would recommend is using a simple fitness app like MyFitnessPal or Macro Factor. So step number 2, what you're gonna do is you need to make sure you're optimizing your training. You're not doing a training week where you're doing a body part split. Rather, what you're doing is you're making sure to train push, pull, legs, or something like upper, lower. You need to split up your lifts more like an athlete rather than just a bodybuilder. Then when you're going into the gym, when you're training lower, you're doing proper bilateral and unilateral lifts. Basically what that means is you're doing squats for the bilateral, which is 2-legged, and then you're doing some unilateral stuff, which means 1-legged, like Bulgarian split squats, lunges, reverse lunges, and then you have to follow that up with proper plyometrics. When you're doing proper plyometrics, you're gonna be able to transfer all that strength that you've gained in the gym to the pitch. If you don't have proper transfer of force, there's no point of training in the gym. So setting up a solid gym plan for you is gonna be excellent. The next thing you need to determine is what's your frequency? How often are you gonna go to the gym? And that really depends on how often you're training with your team, how often you're playing matches. Generally what I recommend in season is trying to get into the gym 1 to 3 times per week, and that depends on how often you're playing for your team. In the off season, that's where you can do your majority of volume. So 3 to 4 times per week, even 5 is generally recommended because you can really overload the body. It is really important to figure out how long your off season is because then you can properly plan your gym plan with the volume, the frequency, and the progressive overload. So what you need to focus on as a player, especially in the off season, is slightly increasing your weights every 2 weeks while keeping the technique, speed, and explosiveness. Obviously, it really depends as well on what phase you're in, right? Because you can have multiple phases as a player. You got your foundation phase, you got your hypertrophy, muscle building phase, which we're talking about right now. You got your power phase, you got your overall explosiveness phase, you got your max strength phase. So you need to determine what phase you're in and actually how to run your program. So the next thing that you're gonna need to figure out is your recovery. You need to be sleeping at least 7.5 to 9 hours per night. And what I would recommend is having a consistent sleep schedule. Your best sleep is gonna be between 10 to 6 a.m. So the earlier you get to sleep, the earlier you wake up, the better, as long as your quality of sleep is good. There are many specific things that you need to be doing to achieve your best sleep. So what I would recommend is if you drink coffee, if you drink caffeine, you cut it out after 1 p.m. If you're more sensitive to caffeine, I would say 12 p.m. Next thing you want to do is for your digestion, have your biggest meal 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed so your body can spend more time on repair during sleep rather than trying to digest your food. The other thing you want to do is definitely get yourself a set of blue light blocking glasses for $20 to $30, getting yourself a sleep mask, and maybe even investing in blackout curtains. And the last tip I'm gonna give for you to improve your sleep and recovery is try to get outside as early as you can when you wake up after you have your 2 glasses of water, pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt for your hydration, get your feet on the ground and get your eyes into the sun so your body can know it's time to wake up and you're properly aligning your circadian rhythm for the day. Step 3, probably the most important part, you're not gaining muscle if your nutrition is not on point. So what you need to make sure of is your protein, as I said before, is at 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Then you have to make sure your carbohydrates are at about 4 to 6 grams per kilogram of body weight to make sure you're fueling your performance. Carbohydrates are the most important thing, especially during high intensity days. If you eat too low carb, you're gonna hit a bonk, which basically means you're gonna hit an energy depletion state, and that's where I see most players get very heavy legs. And your fats need to be at about 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight for your overall testosterone and hormone health. Especially as a male, your testosterone is very, very important for you to gain muscle and add on extra size. If you're overly stressed, if you're not sleeping enough, and you're not getting enough fats in, you are not gonna gain muscle. Because when you're stressed out, your body is going to be in a fight or flight state, in your sympathetic nervous system state, which is the worst thing for your body, especially if you wanna gain muscle. You need to be in a parasympathetic state to allow your body to rest and digest, which is gonna allow you to grow. It's gonna give you that repair stage. And something that a lot of players don't understand is you're actually gonna be gaining muscle when you're resting. When you're in the kitchen, when you're boiling water in a pan, or when you're sleeping, that's when you're gonna gain your most muscle. When you're stretching, when you're recovering, that's when you gain muscle, because when you're training in the gym, when you're training on the pitch, you're actually ripping your muscle. So what happens is when you get back into the kitchen and when you're eating properly, resting and recovering, that's where you're actually gonna gain that extra muscle tissue. The other thing that you're gonna need if you wanna gain high quality muscle is a couple key supplements. I generally don't recommend supplements because the most important thing is food. So you need to get most of your nutrients from food. But what I would recommend if you want to gain muscle is you need a high quality creatine monohydrate. You also need a high quality omega-3 fish oil. And then what you need is you need a high quality vitamin D supplement. The other supplements I would recommend for you are magnesium before sleep, as well as L-theanine to rest and recover. But remember, supplements are not a replacement for real food. They are an addition. They are a supplement to help you improve that nutrient delivery and oxygen to your muscle and the tissue that you're looking to gain. Also, you need to make sure you are staying on top of your hydration. I would recommend 2.5 to 4 liters of high quality water per day. And what I would say you should do, especially as an athlete, is invest in a high quality electrolyte supplement, or at least put a pinch of high quality sea salt in every liter of water you drink. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is step number 4, some sample meals and some sample meal plans for yourself. Obviously, as I said in the beginning, this is going to depend on how much weight you wanna gain, what your current body weight is, and how fast you wanna get there. But let's just talk about how to build your plate. So generally what I recommend is you want 1/4 to half of your plate to be protein. You want 1/4 of your plate to be carbohydrates, and then you want another 1/4 to be vegetables. Obviously, you can go a bit over. But let's say for breakfast, you can have 3 to 4 high quality eggs, 1 to 3 pieces of high quality toast. I go gluten-free, that's up to you, I recommend it. And then what I would say is you go about 1 cup of berries for the proper antioxidants, and then on your eggs, obviously use some vegetables. You can throw in some cheese. If you're looking to gain weight, when you're putting on high quality ingredients, you don't have to be overly strict and measure everything. For lunch, generally what I would do is right now we're cooking up some beef. I always recommend high quality beef, high quality turkey, high quality chicken. And by high quality, what I mean is look for things that do not have added hormones. If you can go organic, that's better. Personally, for me, I think chicken's for softies, so I like to eat beef more often. So what I would say is you can cook up some tacos. We use gluten-free tortillas, some veggies, and then you can throw in some beans or hot sauce. Every meal you need to be having hot sauce. If you're not having hot sauce every meal, you can't subscribe. Anyways, dinner, same exact thing. High quality meat, high quality fish for proper omega-3s, and then some veggies. The best meals are the simplest ones. So keep it simple as much as possible. And generally you should follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, eat according to your goals with high quality, clean ingredients. 20% of the time, if you wanna be a little less unclean, you can eat stuff that is not aligned with your goals. And the most important thing that you need to realize is you need to stop comparing your physique to other footballers' physiques, because you have different genetics and you have different genetic potential. What you need to do is you need to chase your own goals first. You can have role models, but you shouldn't want to look like an exact carbon copy of someone else, because that's going to screw you up and that could cause eating disorders and other type of things that are not going to make you perform better on the pitch. So always just look to be your best self. So step number 5, you're going to have to monitor your progress. Is your strength going up in the gym? Are your lifts going up while keeping that technique sharp? Is your body composition getting better, right? Are you not gaining some flabs of fat? Are your clothes not fitting? I would check the scale every 3 to 4 weeks. I wouldn't recommend it every week. And then what I would do is I would make sure that your recovery is on point. Since you're eating in a caloric surplus, your recovery should be better, especially that you're focusing on putting extra fuel in the system. The biggest problem that I see with footballers actually is under eating. So you want to make sure you're hitting your caloric goals, and the way you do that is by using that app that I spoke about in the beginning. That's either MyFitnessPal, Macro Factor, or any other app that you find on the App Store, or you can search on Google, whatever suits you best and you feel most comfortable with. So last but not least, step number 6, you got to visualize success. If you're not mentally ready, if you're not disciplined, if you're not consistent, you're not going to gain muscle. So follow all those 5 tips consistently and you will be on the road to gaining more muscle, to become a better footballer, and to improve your strength, explosive power, and everything I talked about. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want some specific personalized one-on-one coaching where I actually take you through that entire transformation, I do all the thinking for you. I lay out the entire blueprint so you can become a better, more explosive footballer, gain that weight. I'll also help you get a remote job where you can earn up to $6K per month. And then I'll get you a professional trial directly with a club once you prove you're ready. If you're not ready, we don't send you, right? We're not some commodity. We're not some open trial where we bring 100 players and we promise you something. You come into us, you prove to me that you're doing the work, and I'll get you a trial. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you out. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and let us know down below in the comments what else you want to see from us here on YouTube, because we're growing this thing and you're going to be a massive part of it. Have a good one.